All right, I want to welcome everybody. Thanks for taking the time to join us on the webinar and find out a little bit more about Laureate College. We're excited to share more about us with you and hopefully answer any of your questions so that you have a good understanding about our school and what we can provide for your clients. So I'm just going to run through a PowerPoint presentation. Again, we're recording this, so if you would like a copy of it later to review it or share it with clients, please let us know. And if you have any questions, please enter them in the chat box, which we're monitoring, and we will address them at the end. We have some time designated for any questions at that point. So with that being said, I'm going to get started here. For you. And again, welcome you. Part of this you may not need, and I'll go through very quickly, because as you'll see, we'll talk a little bit about our school. The part I can probably go through quickly is about the OSSD overview and grad requirements, because you may already be familiar with that. If you're not, let me know and I can review them a little bit more in depth at the end for you. And then we'll start talking about a little bit more about what makes us special and why this is a good place for students to work and grow towards their post-secondary pathway for it. Again, our motto is moving forward and transforming people. We want to keep the students, obviously, progressing and developing their skills that'll be necessary in adulthood. And transforming people is to help them turn into, global citizens that can contribute to society, and again have the skills to be able to function and contribute in positive ways. Our core values, the important one probably is individuality. As you'll find out as I go through, you'll find out that we treat every student's journey individually and kind of tailor it to what they want and what their goals are. And with that in mind, we also want to develop them as a whole person. We're not here just strictly to develop their academic skills. It's for them to develop as strong individuals, and with some of the soft necessary skills that will be effective for them as they progress through their education and careers. And then also wanting to ensure that they've got those 21st century components that will help them as they move through. An example of that is I'm working extensively with our staff about the use of AI and how to appropriately harness that and not treat it as a bad thing, but embrace it and move forward with it. Again, I'm not sure if I need to review much of the OSSD, but just so you know, we are a fully accredited school with the Ontario Ministry of Education. We just had our inspection last year and granted us permission for the next 3 years to continue to award credits. Usually it's only a 1 or a 2 year, but providing a 3-year for us demonstrated that they have tremendous confidence in us and what we were doing at the school academically, following the curriculum and our assessment and evaluation strategies to ensure that we are meeting what their requirements are. So again, all our classes are fully certified by the Ministry of Education here. As you know, the diploma is set up with several components needing to accumulate 30 credits, some community hours that are prorated. If somebody only comes for grades 10 or 11, then it would only be 20 hours as opposed to 40. 2 online credits that can either be waived or completed. We have many students that will be working on an online course remotely from their home countries, and then joining us for in-school classes to complete their OSSD. And then there's a literacy component as well that needs to be completed either through a grade 10 test that they can take at any grade, 10, 11, or 12, or through a literacy course that they can complete with it. The OSSD is globally recognized. We have many students that will go to university in Europe or the Far East using their OSSD and have no issues with that for it. Part of those compulsory credits, there's just a quick breakdown of those. Again, I don't want to get caught up on this. I'd rather share more about what our school is. If you have any questions with respect to this, please put it in the chat box and I will get back to it and expand more on it during our question period at the end. Again, the diploma has just changed recently for new high school entrants. It used to be 18 compulsory and 12 electives, and now it's 17 compulsories and 13 electives. They're stressing a little bit more about our STEM components, which is nice. It fits kind of right in with what we offer and provide and support our students with here. So it wasn't a shock to us, and it wasn't hard for us to adjust to the difference as well with it. Beyond the academic piece for their OSSD and completion, as I mentioned, some community involvement hours that we can help and support students find and collect so that they don't have to stress about it. There's many opportunities around here in school and in our near community that we work with them to get them involved in and participating in to alleviate that requirement for the diploma. Again, as I mentioned, online is something that was recently added by our Ministry of Education, and again, it can be opted out from. Many parents would rather have their students in classes with teachers and with classmates to learn than a little bit more isolated online. So they will opt out and encourage the students to get all their credits in class, which is totally fine. Again, the literacy component, we have a Ministry of Education literacy test that can be completed in grades 10, 11, or 12. Or we have a grade 12 literacy class that can be completed to account for that literacy component. We do have an ESL program at the school as well, and ESL credits can be used towards the compulsory credits for English, as long as they do one of our grade 12 English credits to count as their final one, then the OSSD is obtained. Moving a little bit more into why we are a good landing spot for students, and back to looking at that individuality component as one of our key core values. We help students to plan their educational pathway and treat them all. We're starting to call it our signature journey for them, because we know no two students are alike in what their goals are, what their interests are, and so we want to help each one follow those and attain what they want to do in post-secondary. So that starts with the course selection process for students when they arrive. Again, depending on what grade they arrive in, if they're coming for 10, 11, or 12, they'll have some equivalency credits that will be coming from their home country. And so they will be placed into our appropriately graded level courses and not have to start at the grade 9 entry level. If they're coming for grade 9, then they'll work through the whole OSSD program for us. But our conversation with them and with their parents about what they kind of want, what their goals are, knowing that they may change throughout their high school career. We stay on top of them and identify those, and then start to design down backwards to help make sure that they attain where they want. So depending on what their post-secondary goals are, we will, again, look at the requirements that are necessary for entrance into programs for those, Some students arrive with already an idea of what university they want to go to. They've already researched their programs. So, we support them in moving through that and ensuring that they have everything that they need to apply to those programs for it. Some students will just show up with an idea of what they'd like to do. So kind of helping them focus on a specific area, or then presenting some options for them of what's available, either locally, domestically here, or internationally in that subject area or that domain. And then starting that pathway design down, pathway planning for them to ensure that they have everything that they need for it. Our elective courses allow them to perhaps pursue some interest areas that they want to explore a little further. Some of those interest areas even turn into actual changes of post-secondary pathway plans because they enjoy them and they want to focus on them more in depth in post-secondary. So we encourage them to try a variety of those electives so that they have, again, a little bit more widespread breadth in what their knowledge base is, so that personal development of everything from our core values allows for that. And then we start to create a plan for them of the credits per year to ensure that they, again, not only attain the OSSD, but meet all the requirements that's necessary to get into a post-secondary program. This journey is monitored continuously to ensure that the students are on track and also on the journey that they want. As I mentioned earlier, many journeys change, not just through high school, but also through post-secondary. But to start their journey to get them through to post-secondary, we want to ensure that we have them on the one that they want and that they're interested in for it. Our school day is laid out a little differently. Many of the schools that you may hear about are on a semester system, which would basically be a 4-month program, 4 months throughout the year that's broken into 4 classes during that time, lasts approximately 18 weeks or so. Students have to be studying 4 courses during that time. 4 exams, 4 sets of assignments and everything as they go through as well. So we kind of go against the flow with that, and we offer quadmesters. So there's 4 terms during our school year. So basically 2 terms would equal 1 semester at a more traditional school. So the 4 quadmesters would equal all the same number of credits that they would get in a semester system for it, but they're shorter periods of time. So as you can see from the graphic, these ones are only about 9 or 10 weeks long. We have longer periods during the day because we only have 2 classes at a time for them to focus on. Our Ministry of Education says that students must complete 110 hours of classroom instruction to obtain a credit. So again, our semester system, to get the 110 hours spread out over 4 months, you're looking at about a 70 to 80 minute period. Ours over 10 weeks, so you're looking at about a 2.5 hour period for them with some breaks in there. Many people think that that's kind of hard for them to do in longer period of time, and they can get lost in it, but it allows the teachers an opportunity to change gears several different times within that period. And again, kind of on the right side there, it are some of the positives that we feel it provide our students, and the feedback that we've got from students and parents as to what they like about the program. The consolidation checks for understanding. Many of us that have gone through a traditional semester system can remember getting a lesson for about 50 or 60 minutes during the class. Then there's about 5 or 10 minutes of just kind of relaxation and refocusing. And then they start to work on the homework assignments or the the reinforcement activities that are provided by the teachers. And they may only have 5 or 10 minutes in the class for that, and then they go home and they need to complete that for homework. And many students will get home and then open up their books after they've had their bus ride home or walked home or gone out with their friends and had dinner, and then they can't remember what it is and what's going on. And homework is always set up with the easiest questions always seem to be the very first that they build upon and get to the more difficult questions later. So by the later time in a traditional semester system is usually when they're at home and they don't have anybody to ask. And they wind up going back to school the next day and having to ask the teacher then. So the progress of the class is slowed because the teacher needs to review from the previous day to make sure that there's understanding from the students in class before they can move forward. In our longer periods, that can be done all in class. So the lesson can go on, the reinforcement activities provided, the students can work through that with the teacher there to answer questions. The teacher can realize that the students do have a good grasp of the new concept or topic and able to move forward again within that same class period to scaffold and build upon that for it. So it moves fairly quickly. And again, many of our students are high academic achievers, and they like the opportunity to be able to move forward and not feel like they need to go back and revisit every class period when they go in to review that homework from the day before with it. As I mentioned, there's only 2 courses that they need to concentrate on in a quadmester system. So that's only 2 sets of evaluations and assessments or homework or final exams for them that they have to study for. So they don't have to they don't have to worry about being overloaded with the assessments, with trying to formulate a schedule to study to make it to get through and learn 4 courses and consolidate the learning from those for their evaluations and their marks, so they can focus just on 2 courses to do well and get the marks necessary for university acceptance. And that being said, with the quadmester systems, our final marks are submitted to universities earlier than a semester system as well. Our term 1 courses are finished and completed in early November and can go into the universities as a completed course, whereas semester systems would only have a midterm mark going in there that no matter what the midterm mark is, the universities would then have to make an assumption about those students when they're starting to base early admission on them. Whereas with our students, they have already completed those courses and they're already in the bank for them. So it can reassure that the universities that the students did complete that course with it. Similar in term 3, partway through, the students will have it completed, and the semester students would only have midterm marks. So again, the universities can be reassured that our students have those courses completed and that those final marks will not change. So if it's a 94, it's going to stay a 94, not drop to an 89 or anything along those lines with it. So it gives them a little bit more confidence in offering acceptances during that time frame as well. With the quadmester system, it's easier for moving through prerequisite pathways. And what I mean by that is many students may be wanting to look at going into maths or sciences. And in a semester system, they would only be able to take 2 maths. So let's say they may take their grade 11 and grade 12 math functions classes. So they'd have to wait till the next year for them to be able to do their calculus and vectors class or their data management class. So for us, they could get all 4 of those classes in 1 year here with us. So that, again, for students that are only coming for grade 12 that may be focused on a specific pathway like that, they would be able to make sure they get the courses in within that prerequisite pathway within a shorter period of time for it. The electives can be spread throughout the year to give them an opportunity to, again, drive some interest areas or to offset some heavy academic loads as well with it, so that it's a more balanced learning schedule for them. to help allow them for success in all courses. Sometimes students experience courses that they don't like or that they struggle in. And I found throughout my career that trying to keep those students in a course for 4 months is a daunting task, not only for our educators, but also for parents trying to encourage and support them to get through. So if they're in a course that's really not of interest to them, but maybe a prerequisite for them, or they feel like they're struggling and not doing as well as they like, they're out of it sooner and can reset and get onto new courses and new topics that kind of regenerate them and give them, more excitement back into their learning, and not to feel as kind of defeated and depressed as they go through the educational process for it. We also offer and are developing our cooperative education program, which allows students an opportunity for some real life experiences in their fields of interest or in perhaps their post-secondary pathways. So that they can test drive what they may want to do in university. And that way, parents may not necessarily have to pay for a full year or 2 years of university to find out that a student doesn't want to do that and would like to change directions. They may find that out sooner in high school, and get them on the right pathway by the time they get to university. And with the quadmesters, we can offer a concise co-op schedule for the one term or half a term, for the students to experience that and get that opportunity, instead of, again, extending it over half a year, and perhaps losing out on some other educational opportunities for them. We use a number of mechanisms electronically to help our students progress. One of them is called Moodle, and that is our learning management system. So this slide just shows you that we use Moodle for our course selection process, but all our courses are also loaded onto Moodle as well, so that teachers have it as a backup and as a resource, so that students can refer back to that. Again, use the example of they're home doing homework or following up completing an assignment, and they don't remember or have a question for the teacher, and they don't want to wait till the next day to find out about it. They could check Moodle and find out what is loaded on the course there, and either see a lesson or get the clear explanation of the instructions, so that they can progress through that at their pace, meeting their schedule for it. So Moodle is a useful tool for both teachers and students. And again, through course selection, it also helps us organize and plan. We have a student information system. Currently, we're using PowerSchool to track and monitor our attendance, our absences. We use communication and messages that are pushed out through there as well. And we use this for the purpose of it being accessible for parents. So it doesn't matter where you are, you'd be able to check your son or daughter's attendance. You would be able to see their history of marks, upcoming assignments. You would see their midterm marks, their final marks, the marks as they progress through the semester. So again, we don't want to have anybody have surprises, and parents are being told by their child how well they're doing, and then all of a sudden a midterm mark or a final mark comes out, and it's not what the parents were expecting or what the child had been telling them. So this allows the parents the opportunity to maintain current and live access to how their child's doing in their classes with us. And again, this is just a couple of the technology supports that we use. Our Moodle, and we also use Microsoft Teams, Office, and Outlook for the students to be able to work. They do some online group activities through Teams. Teachers and students will put work back and forth for some feedback before final submission, to ensure that the student is submitting a high quality evaluation for them. So that's used to ensure that the students are successful as they go through, and not just on their own to hopefully submit something, and that they're on the right track, they'll be able to get the feedback from the teacher during the process piece with it. Not just academically, I know there's always concerns about what goes on in after-school programs as well. So we do have an after-school program that's available Monday to Thursday, to the end of our academic day. Each term will have different activities that the students can get involved in. Any student that may have an interest area that we don't have an after-school program set up in can talk to a teacher and do that. I know one of the teachers is helping students with a cooking class this term, so that they're able to run it, and they're sharing some cultural dishes among the group and everything. And of course, they really like that because they get an extra snack in during the day. So every teenager enjoys a little extra something to eat during the day for it. It's mandatory for all our boarding students, our local and domestic students. It's optional but again, we encourage them to participate. And I think all but one does, and the one that doesn't participate is involved in an activity outside of school that they need to get to for training afterwards with it. So we take attendance with it and give feedback as well to parents on how they're doing in the after-school activities, so that again, parents see and we support our development of the individual as a whole. For example, that cooking one, it's the hidden message in there is that the kids are starting to learn how to a little bit about food safety, about cooking, so that if they're in university and on their own, parents may not have to worry about them trying to get a meal, because they will have actually had a little bit of experience doing some cooking and finding their way around a kitchen with it. So some of those are subtle but important pieces to help with their, again, overall development with it. With our boarding program, we have mandatory town hall meetings, and that's where any information is shared for all boarding students. If there's any boarding issues or whatever that are brought up, if students can say, if they're having problems or issues with something in the boarding system, they can bring it up and work through that with the other students and the boarding staff during that time as well. So again, that helps them with their self-advocacy skills and their problem-solving skills as they work through that. We have a couple of other webinars available, so I'm not going to go too in-depth into these, but just the offerings that we have here with respect to our STEAM program and our Gifted Arts program. Each term, we have a STEAM project that is worked on by the entire high school for it. Our high school is broken up into a house system. So each house is composed of students from grades 9 through 12. And so each STEAM project, that group of grade 9 or 10 students in each house, whether it's Triton or Phoenix, will work through the problem. And there's different parts to it. And we try to have the staff advisors have the students rotate through, so it's not always the same students doing the presentation or all the same ones trying to take the lead on the design or brainstorming process with it. But it's the first semester was the famous egg drop of trying to have an egg survive a drop off our 4-story roof. This term they're working on a recycled band. So they're making recycled instruments, and then they have to compose a song that they're going to play for using those recycled instruments. So it's the students are enjoying this one because it's kind of fun and trying to figure out what song they're going to play and play it as well as they're having fun with that. And then there'll be a different STEAM project for term 3 and term 4 as well with it. Gifted Arts. The students involved in that get some additional field visits or field trips going out. An example from this past term was students went to a college drama production, and they went in the morning and they got to go backstage and see what goes on backstage, talk to the actors that were involved, get a nice behind the scenes look at what goes on in a performance and what needs to be done. Another one coming up in the spring is going to an art gallery and getting a workshop on some painting techniques from the gallery after, and then having a nice tour of the exhibits and stuff with more explanation about those with it. We have master classes where somebody will come in and provide succinct workshops for the students. We've had drama people in, we've had photography people in, music people have come in. It all kind of depends on the students that are involved and their interests that are in our gifted arts program. There's private lessons and workshops that are available for them as well. We have evening classes that are offered that the students can enroll in and participate. And some community members join that as well. So it's a nice mix for both for the students to join some community members in their learning. Our staff helps with mentoring and portfolio preparation for those students that are looking to go into the arts in post-secondary, and needing to have a portfolio prepared for submission for acceptance with them. Just as an idea, many people ask about, what's our university acceptance rate? Where do they go? So this is actually our class, some of our students from the class that are graduating this year. And these are the ones that received early acceptance starting back in December. And again, I think part of that is due to, they had 2 grade 12 courses fully submitted and completed and turned in back in November with it. You can see in the brackets is kind of the time frame of the students that have been here with us. You can see the universities, the programs that they're in, along with some scholarship offers that they've received as well. So out of our graduating class, this is just one slide that we've put together of a couple of slides that we've shared with our school community. But about 50% of our graduates have already received early acceptances and substantial scholarships for it. And our remaining ones will be submitting their applications by the January deadline coming up in the next couple of weeks for acceptance later in the year. What's not on here, we have a couple of students on the other slide. There's a couple of the students that have received acceptances internationally from the UK, from Hong Kong, and from Australia. That's where their interest is, and the programs that they want are again international or back overseas, closer to their home countries. And again, with the OSSD and our program here, those are readily accepted at those international universities for it. That's kind of all I have right now. I haven't had a chance to check. Hey, Lou, is there any questions in our chat box? Looks like there might be a few. Let me just kind of go in here and see.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Saunders. There actually is one question that I think would be, I think you'll be happy to answer from a principal perspective. And the question is, the parent or the agent, they wondering, the accommodation for the school, because their students are age 10, 13, and 14. And they would like to know the provision the school had to help them with their homework and their well-being. And I helped answer from a dorm parent and admissions perspective, but I think they might find it beneficial from a principal's perspective.
From academically, for Sarah, I see your question on there now. So from the homework and school side of things, our residence program has a mandatory study hall following dinner every evening that's supervised by a teacher. So students would have that opportunity to, with teacher supervision, to ensure that their homework would be completed, any questions would be answered, help to keep them focused on doing that academically. Halo is also one of our boarding parents, and participates in that, he may be able to talk a little bit more from the boarding side of things about their kind of the well-being and the support from there. From the school side of things as well, with our guidance counselor doing regular check-ins with our students, with the teachers, our small classes, our average class size is probably around 6 to 8. So it's very tough for students to hide in there. Many schools have classes of 20. Our public system has them up to 30 and more, I'm sure similar to your home countries. And students, if they're unhappy, if they're sad, if they're homesick, could hide in those larger classes. In the smaller classes, it's not as easy to hide. The teachers have been around and teaching international students and local students for a number of years, and can see when somebody is emotionally struggling or just not feeling themselves. And so we'll address it, connect them with guidance, connect them with myself, connect them with the boarding people, let the boarding staff know to kind of stay on top and re-engage and invite them out to get involved, to do things along those lines as well with it. So there's good communication between the boarding and the school system to monitor and maintain, to make sure that the students are feeling supported and happy during their stay here as well as their school here for it. Does that help, Sarah? Any other questions from anyone? I'm going to stop the sharing here.
Yeah, Mr. Saunders, I think there's one question and ask if you could share the presentation by email. But I think we will be happy to share the recording on YouTube and other social media channel, and we encourage you to follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
And if you want the specific one, instead of picking it up off of social media, just contact our admissions office, and they will be able to send you a copy of this webinar as well for it. And if you have any colleagues that you would like to either share that with, or let them know that we're doing another kind of a repeat of this webinar later this month, I believe it's January 21st, they can sign up for that and get to see me and hear me, and also answer any of the questions that they may have after watching this for it.
Yeah. Sorry. And Sarah, thank you for asking about the tuition reduction question. One of our admissions team members would be happy to follow up with you regarding that.
Okay. All right. If there's no other questions, I want to thank everybody for joining us this morning. A lot of the times, as soon as we click that leave button, we find a question that we wish we had asked. Don't hesitate to contact us with that question, and we'll get back to you. And I hope to see and work with you in the future, and have a wonderful rest of your days or evenings.
Yeah, sorry, I have a question. I
Okay.
really appreciate your time, and also appreciate the person that is responding to me on the question chat box. Thank you so much. But there is this particular one that is not clear to me. I told you that I have 3 students, and one of them is age 10, which I believe is supposed to go to G5 or G6, if I'm not missing it. But he said that she did not have G6, you only have G7. Can he be fit to G7? A child of 10 years old.
So can they go? We'd probably be
A
based
boy
on,
of 10 years old, yeah.
yeah. So they'd be probably grade 5 age, depending on if they come in academically. If they're stronger, we may be able to put them into the year 6, the grade 6 for it. Again, part of it, the elementary, it's not as rigid as what the secondary is with respect to credit accumulation. We have more flexibility at the elementary that we do in the secondary for it. So it would kind of be dependent on the individual.
Okay. So I would like you to look into the tuition reduction for us. That's all. I think I'm okay because we want to take a decision. You
Okay.
understand with the parents. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Christine can work you through that, Sarah. All right. Okay. If there aren't any other questions, again, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. And if you have any follow-up questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us, either our admissions department, and if it's academically, they can connect with me and I'll get back to you as well for it. All right. Have wonderful afternoons and evenings.
Yeah, and you too. Bye bye.
All right. Bye now.
Yeah.